Jamie here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. August 20th, about 19 minutes to the close. Really quick. Not much to talk about, but I figured I'd just do a quick rant. Uh, NVIDIA is reporting earnings in about 25 minutes or so. That'll be interesting. We have PCE data on Friday, but take a look at the market here. Um, the SPY, which I talked about that 555 area being just important support resistance. Couldn't break through that at times last week, then finally broke through to the upside, and then it's been key support ever since. So definitely don't want to see that 555 spot break on the SPY. Otherwise, yeah, it's almost like there might not be enough buyers in there, and could be set the tone for more downside. But NVIDIA is going to certainly set the tone after the close here. Uh, Take a look at Super Micro. I was on the audio this morning, and just as I was talking, I saw Super Micro falling. Well, I actually saw Dell falling, and then you could see why it was falling is because Super Micro came out with their a filing saying they were not news they weren't going to file their 10K, right? So it's not good stuff. If you go and look at their filings, typically they report when they report earnings this quarter in 2022 and 2023, they're filing their 10K, which typically some companies they'll do their 10Q or 10K right after their earnings report, the day of or the next day. Some companies wait, and you have a certain amount of time you have to file before the NASDAQ starts saying you need to file this or do a 10-5, whatever it's called, where you get an extension, which is not construed well. And Supermicro every quarter, or at least this quarter, it's August 28th and August 29th. So for them to come out with this news, it's like it's almost like, is this just coincidence that they come out with this late filing after the Hindenburg report yesterday? Was this gonna come out? Is it because of the Hind? So there's a lot of different things to look at, and it's not a good sign. I mean, you're a 30 something billion-dollar company, or at least you were before today, and you it's typically when you have those filings, the reason you cite for doing a late filing is the cost associated with having to get all your information together and things like that. But it's like you're $30 billion company, right? So ah, someone heads need to roll, but especially if you're long the stock, I mean that's just not it's not a good look. And on the heels of that report. But anyway, I'll get off that that rant for now. But hopefully the SPY, that we'll see what happens with NVIDIA after the close. Holds that 555 tomorrow, the next day, and then I think things bode well. But if not, then maybe start looking for some hedge puts into Friday as people start looking at this potential double top, which I don't want to. I have my bull goggles on, so I'm looking at them and saying I think we're hitting all time highs on the SPY in the coming days. 565 or so break should happen before the end of the week. But if NVIDIA kind of lays an egg, PCE data maybe comes a little hotter than expected, then we have next week. Everybody's gonna be eyeing the jobs numbers for August. So a lot of little catalysts, and then not only that, we're heading into a historically weak session or weak period for stocks. A lot of these funds coming back from the summer, people coming from vacations, and they start looking at their portfolios, want to start rebalancing before the end of the year, take some profits. Anyway, rants for other days, but 555, big spot, and again, proved it today. And then the small caps, just another disappointing session. I guess another silver lining, it's not underperforming the S&P. It's pretty much right in line. The NASDAQ is the worst performing index today, down 1%. Some chop, and you had to, it's this huge rally since the start of August. Had to have been some chop. You just hope there's buyers come in at some point and this doesn't accelerate to the downside. So now individual names. I added more Chewy calls this morning. You start looking at the company, and when I was doing my rants back in May and June when the stock went bonkers, I made some nice coin on the calls. The story hasn't it's a I wouldn't call it a turnaround story, but you had the pent up, well, not pent up, but you had this huge growth with COVID, people not going to pet stores. So what do? They not number one, they got pets, right? So people wanted companionship, what have you, and then they also needed to get supplies for their loved ones. So that in turn, and a lot of sectors and categories experienced a huge surge for COVID, and then Chewy did as well. And then you saw kind of like a little pullback in that. Maybe some people put their pets up for adoption. They decided, hey, we're going to save some money, go get it from Walmart or whatever, order it on Amazon. But now it seems like there's going to be a return to that business, and it looks like they're going to have average user growth for the first time in a while. Margins were phenomenal. You think about their business. I don't know if anybody uses Chewy, but you get to a certain threshold in regards to the order, and it's free shipping. So and people used to talk about Amazon, how they make money on free shipping, but when you have large enough scale, that's when the margins start to really start to take off, right? If you have 100 people you're sending pet supplies to for free, you're not going to make money. When you have 20 million people and you're doing it for free, then that becomes less of an obstacle, right? It becomes more of a driving point, especially for folks who looking to get stuff delivered. So anyway, I was actually looking at the 35s. The spreads were pretty wide after the open. The stock was soaring. Uh, Not sure if I'll add anything more today or tomorrow, but certainly a name I'll continue to look for opportunities to play for upside. I think it trades into the mid 30s and then possibly into 40. And then you have that Roaring Kitty scenario where he may come out with, maybe he's doing a podcast on Chewy at some point, and then YouTube stream in the coming weeks. So that's definitely one to watch. Some of the other names, Clear Secure still has that bull flag setting up. It's only down, well, down nearly 2% here, but considering its move as well, not a big deal. Still like that one for upside. I was hoping to get some more strikes into the 30s, close my 29s, the rest of my 29s out, but still plenty of time on those. I already talked about Super Micro. I mean, all the way down. So, to keep things in perspective, I think Super Micro is still up 93% or more this year. And you take a look in the video, same situation, up 150%. To me, and I look at what's the biggest thing that I could take away from this whole what's going on with Supermicro is if they're losing all this market capitalization and possibly customers or whatever the case, whatever that looks like, who benefits? And like, how does Dell not trade up 2, 3, 4, 5, even higher percent today based on their one of the competitors? I mean, the main business for Supermicro is their servers, and if that business is not going to be as strong as they anticipate, or if there's whatever it might be, Dell is the one that's going to benefit the most from this. So I'm just kind of shocked it's not trading solidly in the green today, but we'll see in the video after the close. They reported a great quarter, nice beat and raise. Dell probably trades near 120 into tomorrow, and then I'll look to close some or all my strikes out before earnings for Dell. Yeah, and that's it. Why don't I have? I don't know why I don't have the other charts here, but pretty remarkable on Dell too. I think it's 9 sessions Dell is traded between 108 and 112, 9 straight sessions, and that's after a rally from 88 and change all the way up to 110 in a matter of like 6 days. So I don't know if that's a tug of war between the bulls and the bears. Is this bulls just waiting for the sellers to disappear and take it up the next leg? I hope that's the case, but I guess we'll find out in the next day or two. And I think that's it, folks. We have 10 minutes to the close. Still looking to add some turn strikes. I mean, sitting here, 770. I'll just sit on my hands. I was looking to get some ENVX puts today. It hit all the way down to 961. Again, I start looking at the premiums and the 850s, $9 puts and September strikes. The risk reward just doesn't jive for me. Even if it gets to $8, the company has a history of sending out some press releases that could pump the stock. So I don't want to be in a spot where I have the puts, they're looking great. Then the next day they send out some press release and the puts don't look so good anymore. So I'll probably wait on that. Roku down here at $67. Disappointing. It seems like just pretty much 24 hours ago, I was saying how 70, 50 or so on Roku was hit 3 sessions in a row, and then was the due today just it's taking it on the chin, almost down 4%. Still like that one for upside. I'll look for more strikes if it holds here. Yeah, I'll have to look at the chart. 66 at about 2 o'clock. Maybe hopefully that's a low. That's it, folks. Let's have a great afternoon. I'll be back rock and roll.